CRV has been Honda's bread and butter model since many years. If I'm not wrong, from the 90s. And let's be honest, Honda doesn't need to make too many changes to their successful model just to be sure they don't want to ruin it. Well, in that case, welcome everybody to the 2023 Honda CRV. Yes, this is the all-new generation for 2023. They've made lots of different changes to it. In fact, it looks completely different to the previous one. Let's see how this new Honda's bread and butter model is. CRV is completely new in its design elements. If you can notice it compared to the old model, definitely this will stand out. You've got very nice sleek headlights which match the Honda theme now, because the Pilot, the CRV, the Civic, the Accord, they all look very similar, which is not a bad thing actually, because I like the design theme that Honda carries these days. You've got the sleek headlights that have merged with the chrome on the grille. You've got a very big grille with a big Honda logo as well to let everyone know that yes, this is a Honda. And you've got lots of elements running where you've got chrome, you've got gloss black on the grille, and you've got a bit of matte black on the bottom part of the bumper, which is actually thoughtful because that's the part that gets most dirty and most scratched up. So if they have it matte, it's easy to maintain. Good thoughtful addition by Honda. Again, if you look on this road, if you look at this on the road, definitely you know that this is the all new 2023 CRV, and that might not be a very bad thing. Profile of the CRV is very much similar to the previous generation. Well, Honda didn't have to fix something that wasn't broke, right? That's the theory they have stuck on with this car. The side profile looks really good. It's very clean, some cuts and creases going on, and since this is the sport variant, you've got a bit of chrome and you've got blacked out wheels which look pretty good. The top end Touring gets normal silver looking wheels but a bit bigger on size. This are 17 inches, and I feel it's the perfect blend perhaps to combine looks with comfort, because you've got enough sidewall, and you know Toronto roads are not the best with potholes. This might be the best compromise, I'd say, look wise and practicality wise. The rear of the CRV, again, it's completely different to the previous CRV. You've got some nice taillights with lots of cuts and creases which might remind you of a lot of different cars. I think for one, it reminds me of the all-new BMW X1. It reminds me of some of the Volvo SUVs like the XC60 and the XC90, but that's just me perhaps. You've got a very big tailgate that says Sport and the Honda badging, and you've got a sticker on the rear windshield that says AWD, which I'm not a big personal fan of as well. Again, the rear wiper stands out like a sore thumb, because you know other brands in this segment like the Tucson and the Sportage have included the rear wiper into the spoiler, so it stands out a bit like that, and I wish it was a bit better integrated. Since this is the Sport, you've got a mild spoiler as well on the roof, which again looks pretty good. Again, it's a CRV, so it has to not look overly funky but yet stands out on the road, and that's what Honda has done really well. Now I'm inside the updated Honda CRV, and as you can see, the interior is now very similar to all Hondas. You've got this little mesh pattern on the center console, you've got the AC vents, you've got the AC controls as well with displays built in them, which is I think a very nifty feature. The steering wheel is again from the Honda family, a 3-spoke but no paddle shifters because this is a CVT gearbox. Again, it's a very nice place to be, and since this is the sport variant, there are some things missing that the Touring would otherwise have. Like, this is fabric seats. The seats themselves are really comfortable, good nice support from the side and under thigh support, but this is fabric. You have a very small screen, I think it's a 5 or 6 inch screen. The resolution isn't the best, but I know that the Touring gets the 9-inch screen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and that's the better head unit by a big mile. You've got a part analog, part digital speedometer and MID, which lets you know the range, fuel, trip, anything. It's a decent looking unit which I have no issues with. You've got lots of gloss black to give it that premium touch. You've got gloss black all over the dash, you've got some gloss black on the doors. Again, it's a very comfortable place to be, and Honda knows how to make a good interior. They've been carrying on this, family theme in all their cars, and it's high time that the CRV got it as well. You've got some storage here, very deep, to put in lots of stuff. You've got 2 cup holders. You've got a big storage here to put lots of stuff. Again, it's a practical car, and the CRV has always been the king of practicality, and this car is no different. I'm in the rear seat of the CRV, and as you can see, I have so much leg room. This driving seat is adjusted for my driving position. In fact, it's a little more behind than what I would usually keep, and as you can see, knee room is not an issue. I can tuck my feet in very comfortably. Under thigh support is good, backrest is really comfortable, and space overall is very nice. You don't have any transmission hump in the middle, so the third passenger is welcome as well. This does fold back, but if you open it, you get access to 2 cup holders. You've got gloss black and some finishing of leather on the door, but the seats are fabric. Again, why fix if it ain't broke? What something I don't like is that even though this is the mid variant, and it might be excusable, but there are no charging ports, nothing in the back, just 2 basic vents to throw air for the rear passengers. But again, it's very comfortable, it's very spacious, and if you want to get the bells and whistles in the back, you might have to upgrade to a higher variant. And the wheel of the new 2023 Honda CRV. So let's get the numbers out of the way. This has the usual Honda power unit, that is the 1.5 VTEC turbo, produces 190 horsepower, mated to a CVT gearbox. Hence, there are no paddle shifters. So let's put this car into drive and set off. And there is a bit of engine noise that creeps in once you rev, and it's not the most pleasant sounding engine I feel in this car, because the same engine is in the Civic and it sounds much better. But the low end torque is good. There is no such thing as turbo lag, and it picks up really well with very minimal throttle input, which is really nice. This is the CRV Sport, and it has drive modes, which is applicable to all the CRVs. But the funny thing is that it only has 3 driving modes, and none of them are actually sport mode. For a car that's actually named Sport, that's actually pretty funny that it doesn't have a sport mode. It's got economy, snow, and normal mode. So I've been driving in normal and economy mode most of the time, and it picks up pretty well. It's the CVT, so it makes some noise, especially when I floor it. So you can see it holds the revs, and it has a fake. So Honda's done a good job of making it look like it shifts, but obviously it's a CVT, so there's nothing to shift. But it fakes the shift, which gives it a bit more of a realistic gearbox feeling, which Honda has done a really good job of tuning. So kudos to Honda for that. The engine, gearbox, drivetrain, it's a good combination. It works really well, and this is all-wheel drive, which is standard on the CRV now, and I think that makes it pretty competent, I would say, compared to other cars in the segment, and it drives really well. They have tuned the steering and suspension for this new car, so the suspension just went over a bump. It's very nice. There's lots of sidewall in the rims because of these 18-inch rims. There's lots of sidewall, so it absorbs the bumps really well. The suspension geometry is really well, and the steering is also has a lot of feedback. Surprisingly, the CRV has always been a good to drive crossover, and this generation is no different. Like the steering, it weighs up really well, and it has enough feedback for a crossover. Body roll is there, but still very much contained. It could have been way worse for a crossover, but yeah, it's still very fun to drive this crossover, which is something you would never relate. See the CVT, but it picks up speed pretty well. I wish there was a sport mode. Perhaps it would have given a bit more sporty touch to it, which the CRV could do with. But yeah, I can't complain. The CRV has never been a bad driving car, and this is no different. The fuel economy, however, isn't the best. It's about 9.5 to 10 liters per 100 in city, and in the highway you can go up to 7.5 to 8 liters, which is actually pretty good for the highway. Will give you a good highway driving touring range, which is pretty good. But yeah, can't fault this car for the way it drives. Honda knows how to make a car handle, and this is no different. In conclusion then, the 2023 Honda CRV, well, it still drives very well. It's extremely spacious, it's practical, it's got all the basic necessities in features, it looks really good, and it's a Honda, so it's going to be decently reliable as well. Well, Honda didn't need to change their recipe for success compared to the previous model, and they really haven't actually. They've just mildly evolutionized the car, and I think that's the best way to move forward with every car they make. It's a bit pricey though. This sport variant is at around $43,000 Canadian before taxes, and that's a bit steep if you ask me, because the touring hybrid, the top of the line, touches $50,000+ Canadian for a CRV. I don't know if that's inflation or Honda just being greedy, but I think it is what it is, and I'm sure it's not going to stop this car from selling by the hordes. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.